Hello, good morning, good evening, everyone. Today I want to speak about the voice of God. People hear God's voice in different ways, through different means. I'm going to speak about a few verses focusing on the voice of God. In First Kings, we read about God's voice being heard as a still small voice. In John chapter 10, verses 27 to 30, Jesus says, "My sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me." We hear God's voice in the Word of God. So the Bible is a whole book that speaks about God's voice, God speaking to his people. We hear God's voice sometimes through dreams, through visions, through people around us that God may speak a word into our lives, through creation. Actually, God's voice speaks through creation. God spoke creation into existence. And sometimes we do hear God's voice through what we see in creation, in his creation. So there are different ways, and every person hears differently. Every person that wants to hear God's voice will hear God's voice in a different way or in a different mean. So ask yourself, how do you hear God's voice? Yours might be different to mine. It might be different to somebody else, but you are unique in some ways, and we nurture that way of hearing God's voice. And that is so important for us as believers to hear his voice because we are his sheep. And as his word says, his sheep hears his voice. Hope this word speaks to someone, and everyone, I'll talk to you later. Bye.